Alright, what's going on, guys? Sequence here. Today I'm going to be talking about the TFUE situation. I don't really feel comfortable, like getting in the middle of it, talking about business stuff, because I'm not the exact best with that. But I do have some key points to point out that kind of pokes holes in TFUE's argument. He's basically making it out to be that his, almost life and money and his whole money situation is in jeopardy, when that's really not the case. I think everyone knows Tfue would not have all of his earnings and money from sponsorships. I think he knows FaZe doesn't need that money and they won't take that away, even though they have the power to. Also, this isn't the first organization Tfue has joined. He's not new to this. This is probably his best organization he's ever joined, his best experience. So starting off, his first org that I can remember and that I've looked up plenty of times. This is the one that I remember him joining back in H1Z1. This was the org he initially joined for Fight for the Crown that aired on some broadcast network. I don't remember, but it got like 250,000 live viewers. Tfue joined Denial Esports, and that was his worst esports experience ever. And so that kind of brings me to the question, why didn't he sue Denial? Because if you look right here, this is when he joined Rogue and all that. I should have had that point pulled up because I was going to point that out later. But right here, this line right here, Denial owns H1Z1 team $22,700 in outstanding salary and prize winnings. So divide that by 5 because in H1Z1 there were 5 people on one team. That would be about $4,500, I think. Somewhere along those lines, 4,600. So, he's had literally money stolen that he was promised. In FaZe, he knows what money is going to be taken from him. So, like the sponsorship, 80-20, he knows that it's not really stolen. It's, kind of FaZe, they own part of that money. So, that's not a big deal. The money that was taken from him from FaZe. What is a big deal is this Denial situation. He was stolen about 4,600 from him, and this was when he was a little bit smaller, but back when he played H1, he was kind of big, 1,000 viewers. Um, and this should have been a lot of money to him. He never decided to sue them because they actually breached contract. From what I'm seeing, FaZe has never breached a contract, and I'm sure he said they have in some way, but I think what he's suing about is like how unfair the contract is, which really it's not fair because what they have already tried to do months into him being part of that contract, they've already tried to revise it, give him a 7-figure salary. They've tried to give him no cuts. They've tried to take no cuts with that 7-month salary, 7-figure salary, Jesus. And so I just don't see why he's suing. I what I think it is I think that he's trying to look like the good guy, but he's just like really not making out to be the good guy. He's looking like he's just a snake. He's trying to get people on his side and say, "Yeah, this isn't right. We need justice." It's almost like he's playing the social justice warrior-esque type person, and it's just not fair to especially Banks. Banks really kicked off his channel. No matter what anyone thinks, he made millions way quicker than he would have. I guarantee he would be a millionaire by now, without FaZe, without a doubt. But he wouldn't have as much money right now if he was not in FaZe. He would not. And it's just like, it's completely unfair to FaZe. What he did is kind of like a hit and run. He was like, yeah, I'll get in FaZe. Boom, gets all this money. He's like, this contract is bullshit. And he saw the numbers, but he's never actually had a lot of money taken away from him. 60,000 is a drop in the bucket for him. Sorry. It's literally a drop in the bucket for him. That's like a penny. Because he's had a video where he spent like 100,000 on his birthday. I'm pretty sure that was him. But, so that's nothing to him. I don't think he was complaining about the 60K. And he was just saying how they could just strip his earnings from him. He donates his earnings anyways. I don't see why that's a problem, and it really makes me mad because if he donates his earnings to charity, but he's complaining that his earnings can be taken away from them, can be taken away from him. I'm sure that if they were taken away from him, if he were to ask that's my money that I was going to donate to charity. You think FaZe would, just be like, screw you, we're not going to let you donate it. We're going to keep it for ourselves. They don't need money. I don't even know if they have investors. I think they have all the money that they've profited from ever since they started. Why would they need investors? They don't need millions of dollars from TFUE. They already have a brand that they built themselves. And if I look at it right now, if I just go to FaZe Clan, I'm just gonna look at their monthly views, which I'm pretty sure it's like 28 million. Last time I checked, maybe I'm wrong. It looks 35 million. They've made 35 million this month. You see, I'm highlighting it behind me. They've made 35 million views the last 30 days, and this is just from their YouTube. That's about a 70. Say they have good ad revenue. That's about $70,000 right there in 1 month. So you really think like $60,000 is a lot to FaZe? No, they don't need that money. They really don't. So why hasn't he sued Denial? They took money from him and they breached the contract, and that was his worst contract ever because he actually not only signed to them once, he signed to them twice. Even after the situation, he signed to them the second time, he still hadn't gotten his money. The second time, he still has not gotten his money. So this was right before DreamHack Atlanta 2017. He re-signed with them because I guess Denial said they were going to pick up their act and pay their players back after Atlanta. That never happened, which why would you trust that anyways? So TFUE already has experiences with these bad contracts. Why hasn't he learned from the past experience? I don't know if Rogue was like seriously a bad org for him, or he just like didn't fit in, or he just like didn't enjoy himself on PUBG. I think he had some viewers on PUBG. I know he had like a good amount that would sustain him living and paying bills, but I don't know if he was like a PUBG person that actually liked playing it. He was signed to Rogue for it. I don't know if he was salaried or anything like that, but he did play in events like this, as you can see with Aladdin and Chronix. Aladdin's a good guy, by the way. He's just such a good person. But here's another, like, you can see a picture of him on Rogue, or he has his Rogue overlay on playing PUBG. And I don't understand why, if he's been through, I don't know if he's signed with Rogue more than once, but I'm pretty positive that Pineapples, which used to be on Denial with him, this is Pineapples right here. He used to be on Denial with him. I'm pretty sure that he said that they re-signed with Denial, even after the fact that they hadn't been paid their money from Fight for the Crown, which is this event right here. You can see like it was sponsored by Twin Galaxies. I mean, it was live on TV. I saw it. It was probably the best Battle Royale event I've ever seen. But when you don't get money from an event like this, from an org that you were signed with, and then let go, like you weren't part of that org anymore, and you don't have the money from them, but you re-signed with them, like obviously why didn't you learn from the past? Why are you putting this on FaZe like they gave you a bad contract? Because if anything, Denial is the one who really put you in like a bad position for contracts and just things like that. It's really a messed up situation why he makes it out to be that FaZe did him wrong when Denial did him wrong. Denial, I'm actually almost positive, hasn't paid back their money, or if they have, Zach the CEO did it, and that took about a year or two to get processed. So, I mean, 4,000, let's just say TFUE's stream died out, and in 2 years, he wasn't making that much money, and then he finally gets it later. I mean, that would still be like a spit in the face, because why didn't he get it back then? He could have like used that money to put it towards streaming and stuff like that. I think it really kind of like, even though his brother is Juke Squad, whatever, he has a financial like barrier that's holding him up anyways. Why wouldn't he sue them? Why would he sue FaZe? It just doesn't make any sense. FaZe really put them on the map. I mean, I even popped in TFUE's stream when he just started playing Fortnite. Banks didn't really say it right. He didn't get about 100 viewers during Fortnite. He got about 300 average viewers, maybe 200, but I mean, that doesn't really matter. It's in the hundreds. That's what Banks meant. But it just, none of this makes any sense to me. And I'm trying to think of some points. Also, another thing is you would think that these players on FaZe, you would think that more of them would have this type of experience with FaZe where they have this bad contract. Now, I'm not saying this contract isn't unfair in the numbers. Like, the numbers are kind of unfair, and they could be taking advantage of his money, but they don't. And they've tried to renegotiate, which Banks has put out plenty of times. Seabass put it on the FaZe Clan Twitter and YouTube. So I don't know why he's complaining, suing. Maybe he could have gotten out of his contract civilly if he did this behind closed doors, and maybe still been friends with the FaZe guys, and then started a campaign about people who have bad contracts, because that would only make it more fair. But apparently he's trying to make his own organization. That's like literally crossing the line, because that just probably makes FaZe not want him to get off the contract, just solely because he wanted to make a competitive organization, kind of like making them have a competitor. It probably wouldn't have been as big as Nade Shot's, if I'm being honest. Like, if Nade Shot really, he did really good with 100 Thieves. And one thing I don't understand, though, is why, because apparently he's already talked about the organization and how he wanted to make one himself. But one thing I don't understand is how Censor was able to make his own organization for competitive Call of Duty, and TFUE wasn't. Now, I think I kind of understand the answer is because TFUE has more numbers. It would literally put TFUE's organization up against FaZe Clan, and FaZe could start losing fans, numbers, all that stuff that they don't need to be losing. So, I mean, it's kind of fair that Censor got to make his own team, which I don't even remember what team it was called. I think he just kind of co-owned it, but that's really it. That's all I had to say. If you agree with me, comment down below, leave a like, subscribe. I just don't understand the situation and why Tfue is blowing it out of proportion. You can clearly tell he was reading a script the whole time. This was unscripted, off the brain. This is really just like it was what I figured I should say, because people didn't shed light on the whole denial situation. You can see, like, I mean, $4,500 back then, that's a lot of money. To him, that's nothing. But I can't say I didn't know, like, I don't know any of his banking information now or even back then. But still, to anyone, that had to be a lot of money back then, especially when he wasn't a millionaire like he is now. So if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next video, whenever that is, because I don't upload very much. And yeah, goodbye.